Hello and welcome. Today is Tuesday, 24th day of October, 2017. My name is Derek. Welcome. And I want to talk a little bit about the exchange HitBtc. The one thing that I often do within my trading is reflect, look back at my plays that I have made. What have I done brilliantly? Where have my mistakes came into play? And in one case, I haven't taken as much advantage of this exchange as I should. My favorite strategy in the buying low, selling high, with this is probably the best site to do it on. Back when this started, this page, March, you only had like 15 or 16 codes you could trade. And there is several more that are available. They have a Bitcoin exchange, an Ethereum exchange, a fiat debt note exchange, and they have ICOs in here. Maybe I'll get into this one, but the right two don't mean much to me. But right now it's all about Bitcoin exchanges for me. And there's a lot of different codes on here. And within this video, I'm going to go over the ones that I'm familiar with. And then anything else I have no idea about. First is something I will be playing in this, AE. And if you know something, I don't know anything about these. The ones that I do, I'm going to talk about. But what I say, I know it. I've looked at the charts. I've probably traded 98. I've probably bought and sold it at least 98% of them. First, I've traded several times. I don't think I've traded AE. I don't know anything about this. AEON. So if you know anything about some codes, yeah, it's a good idea. I should get into this, Derek. Let me know. Because I know nothing about AIR. AMP, yeah, I know about that. ANT, yes. ARDR, yes. ART, no. This here is the BTX. That's the futures for the 2x SegWit coming up in about 3 weeks or close to such. Currently trading at 17.5%. It'd be interesting if I could take a Bitcoin, put it aside, and I can't do anything with it until the hard fork, and then give me like one B2X so I can sell it right now. That would be really cool if I could do that. Maybe you can. I wouldn't know how if you could. But that'd be one way I think you should be able to get them. You'd have to literally, if I said, hey, I want to get one BTX, I'd literally have to store a Bitcoin where I couldn't do anything with it for that time to guarantee that, because it's an IOU kind of coin. In fact, even the Bitcoin Cash is an IOU coin on this right now. BCC, Bitcoin Cash, I know about that one. I don't know about BCN, none of these, none of the other Bs. Bitcoin Gold. And it's in at 33. It's at 3.7% right now. It's getting to the point where it's hard to consider selling. I've sold a little bit, under 10% of my overall Bitcoin Gold that I plan on getting, which isn't much. And I'm not selling it, I don't think, for under 5%. I look at it as in this. Imagine you buy a code, and then you're going to watch it go up and down. Assume you get off to a good start. Say you buy something. Say you bought LITECOIN at like 0.1. And then you see it up to 0.11, 0.12. Well, if it's up 0.12, that means you're up 20%. So if you look at it in that terms, which is what I'm doing, the difference is if it starts pulling back, oh, it goes to 110, 105, 104. Now I'm up 4%. There, I can go into negative territory as those numbers go lower. Here, you really can't. So it really is starting to trade linear on the way down, making it not worth selling for me at this time frame. As of now, it's 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Bittrex has not credited the tokens, or coins, or whatever you want to call them, nor have they, obviously they haven't opened exchange yet either, obviously. But yes, moving on. Bus I've never heard of. BTM I've never heard of. CDT, nothing, nothing, nothing. Haven't heard of any of the ones in the letter C here. Dash, obviously, I know what that one is. DCN, DCT, don't know any of this. DGB, not a big fan of it. I just bought 16 LUN on this site. I just got a notice for that. I bought it at 97008. Dice, I've heard of it, never traded it. Doggy, haven't traded that in a while. DSH, I've traded it before. I've been out of it for a little bit. Don't like it, won't trade it. Edgeless, I'm in. EMC, I know about. ETC and Ethereum, I know about. So if you know anything about, like, ETBS, this is good for this. Okay, let me know. But, I mean, I've never heard of them. FCN, I've heard of. Fun, Game, GNO. I've heard of GUT, but never traded it, I think. I just bought 13.78 LSK on this site. And let's go to LSK. I just literally bought this like a second after I said it. There's a 13.78, I think. So therefore, within this site, I can go to filled, canceled orders and see that I just bought 13.78 at 15.30. So the strategy in which, or 101.530, my strategy is try to get a decent gain on this and then buy it back. I'm going to have to put a buy order in for lower than this. We're probably talking about 90, 88, 85, somewhere around there. Put a sell order in. I'll be guessing about 125. I can look in the order book and see there's no advantage really to working within these numbers because this trades on other exchanges that are bigger than this anyway, so the real price is always going to catch up to such. So therefore, I'll just quickly look at a chart here. This is the weekly, so, somewhere around here looks good. And that's all you need to do with the strategy. Yeah, so around 129. Okay, that's easy. So let's actually put that sell order in. So I'll just click on just whatever. I'll click on a random number. And then I can, from here, type in, and I'm going to go like 129. And I want to sell what I have, and there we have it. And maybe I want to buy it later if it goes any cheaper. I could go like this. Maybe I want to buy 1.5% of a Bitcoin, maybe 1 4/9. And I got a sell order in, I got a buy order in. And that's really the strategy. It's that simple. So then, I'm not going to need to do anything on this code. I guess someone's been banned. Anyway, interesting how that came up. This is a troll box. Do I got this set off, which is probably what I'd want. Anyway. If the market goes up, it'll go up to $12.99. I'll get credited with 1.8% of a Bitcoin, and I'll probably swap a buy order, probably closer to the current price at around 10. But if it goes lower, I'll be buying at the 80, and I'll look to put a sell order, again, probably close to 10 or 10.5. And if it goes to 8, I might put a buy order in for 6 or something of that nature again. So let's continue on within this list of codes because there is so many, and I love that. The more options, the better. Obviously, LTC is an obvious one. LON, I like that one. Made, no, I bought LON, I think I just said. I've already got a sell order already, as you can see here. And you can see I've been outbid. So in a situation like this, you can try to flip over, so you can go to your orders. And we can cancel this. I got 16 because I just bought 8 more. So I bought 8, then I just bought the other half. So what I can do is I can go in there, and to make it easy, you just have to, you can see the price in here. To do 1 Satoshi difference, I can just go like this. Put in the 16 that I got, I'll get 2.2% of a Bitcoin if I can make that sale, something that I just picked up at the price of 97,000 Satoshi. Okay, so that's LUN. And then I'm going to go through these lists and then some other key reasons for why I like this site. And the strategy just works so well, especially if you can see these types of moves like these, especially if they're consistent with some of the smaller codes. I'm going to look at some of these codes later on when I have more time. But for now, MAID is something I know about. I've heard of MCAP. I traded it once for a loss and got out of it a few months back, and that's it. But I've never heard of MIPS or MNE or MTH. NEO I'm familiar with, NXC and NXT. OMG I'm familiar with. Pay I am familiar with, but all these others like Ping and PIX and PLBT, I don't know if I've heard of that one or not, so I guess no. But PLU I've never heard of. POE I've never heard of. I've heard of PPC. I've heard of Peercoin. Which one is that? PPC Peercoin? If that's the case, I've heard of it. Maybe PTOY I've heard of and played, but none of these Q ones. REP, is that Augur? I think it is. I think I've played that. And then you got RLC I've never played, RVT I've never played, SBD again, SiaCoin of course I've played. Don't know anything about Skin, don't know anything about SNC, SNGLS I've played. SNT I know of, but I've never played it. I've heard of it, is what I say, I know it. Steam, yeah, I've heard of it. Wow, it's down to 19,000. Wow, that's big. I remember calling it a 6,000 low, and then it just scorched way above that number. Much higher than 19. Strat, of course, I know of, but I've never heard of STX, never heard of Sub, SWT, TAAS, never heard of. But I've heard of Time, TRST, Veritasium. Never bought it, but I've heard of it. I've actually got I put my first ever buy it order in for about just 5 minutes before I started this video. So first ever time I've attempted to acquire some Veritasium. Voice, VOIS, I've bought this before a little bit in the past. Same with Waves and Wings. NEM, I know about that one. Monero, XMRP, obviously, and Ripple, XRP. But I don't know XUC. Verge, know about that one. ZEC, but I don't know any of the others. So if you know any of these other ones and you want to know something really good about it, maybe one's got a great day trade or that's available, or one's you think is going to be great for the future, I like to try to trade anything I think is going to be in a bull market, but I realize that I can survive myself well if anything starts to go down. And here's someone who's already outbid me already by 1 Satoshi. So I'm going to be a little greedy here. I pretty much got 3 choices. One, I can just stand pat because there's no sense of continuing outbidding this person because they're probably going to just keep outbidding me. The fair price is around 10. So if I were to sell right now, I'm getting like a 30+% gain. This is one of the strategies you want to look for, where you can place a buy order in much, much cheaper than what it's going for. Even to the point where you could transfer it to another site and get the instant sale. And if you want to think about it, look at it right now. We got 97 for 2 LUN. Then we got 80 for 4. So I'm going to go for a double play here. 80013. I'm going to bet small above it. So I'm going 1 above it. And maybe go for, say, 6. Is that too small? Yeah, that's too small for me. Let's just do a 12. That's a small bet. So I got 12 in here, but it even goes better than that further. We can see down to 70, and they can only now sell 19 down to 80. I'm going to do a triple play here now that I'm looking at this. So therefore, I'm going to go a little above this 70 number. So this is a type of strategy that I like, and maybe go 1.33% of a Bitcoin on this. And maybe we'll go for 2% on the next one, the lower, the triple play, because Below that, there is only 74 of these things to go down to this big buy order here. This order at 55.020 is for 60 of them. So let's go north of that. Let's go 25. And go for maybe 2 2/9% of a Bitcoin. So you got the strategies in. Now you got your active orders. We can see this, but the sell order, my options are stand pat. That's not going to be it. Bid lower, make a statement, maybe 131, 125. But I'm not going to do that either. Instead, I'm going to go for a bigger score. So I'm going to cancel my sell order. And when I'm looking at this order book, so I mentioned things like, and this doesn't make, okay, I mentioned like when you're looking at the LITECOIN or Ethereum or any big moving code on here that is commonly traded on another exchange. It really doesn't make much of a difference. Now you have a less commonly code that is also traded on another exchange. But here's the interesting kicker that you're going to notice happen within this game. Let's assume someone, okay, it's not a surprise. If this thing starts going bullish, say on another place, it's at like 10,000 Satoshi now. It's pumping up to 12,000, we'll say 12.5, 13,000. Now these other exchanges with outrageous bid-ask offers actually get taken. So I have seen situations where, say, the market rises to, say, 12,000, 13,000, 15,000, and maybe they'll take these 17.5s and 17.6s will actually be taken. So because of that, I see there's a 17.5 here, so that's where I'm going to want to sell just before that player. And now I'm going to move it towards there and go for, now instead of a 30% gain on the play, go for a 75% gain on the play. So this, okay, so other things that I like about this site, the fees, 0.1%. It's not bad. It's pretty good, actually. So this is another good reason why I like this. And also allows you to trade for shorter term numbers. So if you want to day trade, and this would be good, I guess, for the Ethereums and LITECOINs and the ones that move faster. I just bought a half of Veritasium, partially filled. But so yeah, I like to get this market depth chart in here. But if you're trading things like those, maybe you can buy at 101.20, sell at 101.47 or 101.55, and you can 101.80. You can actually play for the smaller gains there if you wish. So on Veritasium, I was just notified that I bought a very small amount. So for the very first time ever, I own 0.476, which is basically about close to 40% of my order. So the bid-ask ratio, I just bought at 105. One of the strategies here where I could just go for the instant play here. Now I can probably presume that I might get overbid as it is anyway. Maybe try to play the back end of this, where you see this goes 123, 124, 126, so the back end would be about 128. Because you have a situation where someone just wants to buy it all up, and well, they're looking at this order, oh man, I don't want to buy the 137, so I don't mind buying these 123s, and well, 124 is not bad, and 126, and well, 128, I guess I can take that. But no, I'm not taking 137, and it's not like there's many there, and I don't have to go up to 140, 141. No way. But if you wanted to go for higher gains, then maybe you can try to go underneath the 140, go to 139. 137 doesn't mean too much when you see 0.26, which is more than half of what I got, but still. It's not that big of a number to mess around with. And then, of course, if you want to go for these big, like if you look stuff like this, well, that was opening, but you can go for insane orders. You look around and think, okay, maybe this thing will start to, or I can put some bigger sell orders in here. Maybe someone will make a big buy. I can put a sell order in at 0.03. That's like triple the gain now. Even bigger ones than that go like 0.15, 0.20. Just, and if you think of it this way, if you're holding coins that you don't mind holding on a exchange, and in this case, this exchange, and you're in really no rush to sell. But let's face it, if you put an insane buy order that's going to make you 10, 20, 30, 40 times, 50, 100 times more than where it's going for, it's a good chance if it gets filled, it's an amazing opportunity in that it's going to go back. It's not a real buy, in that you're going to see that big line on that daily chart going in because someone just happened to, why did they buy so much? And, well, you got a great deal for selling and buy it back maybe 20, 40 times more and still have some extra profit to party for the weekend. Okay, is there anything else I need to cover as far as within the web page? I'm not going to click on this, but when you go to account, that's where all the codes will be. So like any other exchange, you can click on you can deposit and withdraw from them. And also too, if you do things like buy on one exchange to sell on another, meaning you're buying here to sell on Bittrex, or you're buying on Bittrex to sell here, or same with Poloniex, whichever. Then what's important to note is, one, how much does it cost to transfer? I have seen a lot of these can be almost nothing to transfer or minimal. Sometimes I've seen things cost up to like 10 US dollars. And I once had to pay it, which sucked, to transfer. So and if it gets too high, unless you're a big time high rolling trader, it's probably not worth doing. And also, whether you're a big high roll trader or not, the wallet maintenance issue. You want to make sure that if you're planning on buying and selling and moving, that the wallets on both sides are not in any maintenance issue. And if you have situations where one exchange is in a very bad wallet status where it's down for quite some time, let's just assume this was traded on, say, exchange ABC. And ABC has been down, say, for 4 days now, and their exchange ain't coming back, or at least there's no sign of it for their wallet. Well, here we see the thing trading at 0.012 and 0.010. Over there, you might see at 0.006 or 0.007, and you think, oh, what a great buy, but you really can't do anything with it but put a sell order there. So there's just something to keep your eye on, because I've done that a few times with like PivX, for example. I'll see it trading on a smaller exchange at like 20% cheaper. I'll just buy, and then I see go to my wallet and I can't transfer. Oh man. And then I think I've done that like 3 or 4 times actually with different codes. Not recently, because when I make mistakes, I try not to do them over again. That's why I'm using this site again to just buy and sell, because I've done this a few times before and it profits much better than any other site. And it's not because of the 0.1% rake, although it helps a little bit. Any little bit extra I can save, which is less gains in my pocket, well, in my balance, is beneficial. But when I've looked at my previous swing tradings with just the regular codes like the Ethereum and the Ethereum Classic, which is what I'm definitely doing on this, then I got to do this more often. If you're wanting to know more about this strategy and how to, if you want more information on it, send me a few questions or a question on it, and maybe I'll make a video. I'll probably definitely make a video on it, but if there's anything in particular you want to know about it, it really is simple. as far as buying and selling. Oh, another quick thing. Yeah, I knew there was something else I wanted to show. Let's just assume that you wanted to buy and sell, but you don't want to type numbers into that screen. You're like, oh, okay, where do I sell? You're looking at these lines. You know, I want to sell roughly at that line. Now you can see on the right-hand side it says 0.015379. I'm going to double click it. It turns to red with a line. And now, all of a sudden, I can go like this and place a sell order. And it's done. So like a video game, just to make it so you can do it really fast. I think this is, it's one of my favorite sites, actually. And now that they got more codes, it might even become my absolute favorite trading platform. And I'll go over the list. I've traded on about 10 to 12 different ones in total. I'll go over the ones that I have and explain some pros and cons. They've all been good in the sense that every single amount, every trade that I have went through has worked. Every withdrawal has all worked. So all exchanges thus far have been good to me. And some of them I don't trade on. And I'll explain reasons why for each of those. And thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.